good old acquaintance be forgotten?
Welcome, everybody, to Off the Cuff 2018. Happy New Year, everybody. This is the Auld Lang Syne. I guess that's how you pronounce the name of the New Year's theme. This song is played when the ball drops. But what I found interesting about this song is it has the lyrics. And I was looking for just the music, the theme. And I was like, I think I like the music with the lyrics in there better. It's unfortunate that they don't sing this since, they just have the theme going when the ball drops. But it's a very beautiful song. But Happy New Year, everybody. I hope everyone had a good New Year's Eve. I went to the casino, and the casino was packed, as usual, but I never had seen it as packed as what I seen it on New Year's Eve. Everybody, I feel like, come out to the casino, but it made me wonder, what else are people going to do? Are they going to, you can either sit at home and watch Ryan Seacrest on ABC, or you can go out to a bar, hang out with friends. Some people go to church, and some people, they call that a night watch service where you pray the old year out and the new year in. I've done that for a good 12, 13 New Years. But, this year I went to the casino, tried my luck at winning some money. Let's just say that I won enough to where I paid for my trip, and I had a good New Year's. I didn't win the tournament like I wanted to win, and I didn't get my name drawn for any prizes, but it was still a good way to pass the time, a good way to pass the evening. I think everybody there, they were excited about New Year's. There was a vibe there. They gave out free hats, free necklaces that said 2018 New Year. People were just energetic. They were ready to stay out. People had a mission to stay out past midnight. And when you have a mission to stay out past a certain time, you are going to make it to that point. And by 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock that night, it was packed in the casino. People were, you couldn't get a table. Every table was open and you still couldn't get a table. And they were even, raising the minimum bets. Typically at a casino, you got $10 a spin on a roulette table, maybe $15 at most at a blackjack table. But everything was up that night at the casino, Hollywood Casino. Roulette was like $25 a spin. Blackjack was at minimum $25 a play there, but they had to do that to keep the tables flowing, and they knew that there was enough people there that would make those bets. You put those minimum bets at $10, the table's going to be packed with people, but they're only going to be playing $10 a spin or a play. But when you raise the minimum to 25, you're still going to have people packed around those tables because of the amount of people there, but they are going to be spending a minimum of 25, so you're going to be making more money. It's a smart way to do things at the casino, the way they did it. I didn't have a problem getting in on a table, luckily. I played poker most of the time, which, I started the poker tournament at 8 o'clock, and I didn't get out of the poker tournament, made it to the final table, and those things go quick. The tournament tables, the time on those, the antes go up pretty quick. So I was there from 8 to about 10:30. So the last hour and a half I spent playing slots. And then after the New Year, I tried my luck at the table. I had more luck in 2017 than 2018. I'll just say that. But I was only just a few minutes in. But I hope everybody had a good New Year's. It was really cold. On New Year's, it got down to 3 degrees. It was so cold on New Year's. The people who stood outside in Times Square, I don't know what in the world you are doing that for. I don't understand the appeal. I understand that it's a national broadcasted event every year, people standing in Times Square watching the ball drop. But what is the point? What is the fun in it? When you get there and you stand, what are you going to do? You're there, you're standing in Times Square, but what are you going to do? They said some people had been there since the a.m. of New Year's Eve and stood there all the way up to watch the ball drop. That is, what are you going to do that long when you stand there? Okay, there's music and there's fireworks and performances and stuff, but the crowd that you're in, oh my gosh, being around that many people for so long, I'm sure there's drugs involved when people are standing there that long to stay warm, to pass the time. I'm sure there's some hardcore drugs, because who stands out in the cold that long to watch a ball drop? To say you did it, okay. I mean, some people like to do stuff like that, but think of other things that you can do where you can say I did it. Besides something like that, because I just do not. That's probably the most least appealing thing I ever have a dream to do, is standing in Times Square to watch the ball drop on New Year's Eve. I mean, if it happened, cool, but I'm not going to make it a mission, not going to make it a point to do that. But it was freezing. The temperatures, it's not been that cold in years. And the wind chill was like negative 20 something. It was freezing. It was freezing. 2018, that means there's going to be more stories. People do not change in a matter of a year changing. Year to year, people are the same. And I was reminded when I opened up my news feed to see this story trending on Twitter. It was a young man, 17 years old. Terrell Morgan is his name. And he was arrested for breaking into a home of a woman and apparently watched her and her daughter sleep. And he stood there for hours, left a stain behind, and that through that they were able to identify someone was in the house. And they found out who it was because he left behind basketball shorts. And his basketball shorts were, his fingerprints on there, and the water bottle and everything was linked back to a previous arrest that he had been arrested for. But the story, when I was reading it, it just got weirder and weirder as I read it, because it said that the boy broke into a window, climbed through a guest window, went into the 7-year-old daughter's room first. Now, I had no idea that he was going in there to bother the 7-year-old girl, because he was breaking into this house. He wasn't familiar with it. So I think he was just walking room to room to see what all was there. But he went in there and turned around, but there was no one in the room. The daughter was sleeping with her mom in the bed. And Terrell went to the bedroom of the mother and watched them sleep, took off his clothes, and the story said that he had a dress pulled up to his knees, or that hung down to his knees. That's just, it's freaking weird, man. And the kid, the 17-year-old boy, he was an African-American guy, and it makes me wonder what kind of sick people are out there to break into a home, not really steal anything, although he had been previously linked to breaking into that house earlier in November and stealing things from them. But for him to break into the house of this woman and watch her and her daughter sleep, that is scary. Lock your windows, guys. Lock your doors. You're never in a safe place with the world we're living in. You should feel safe at home, but lock your windows, because things like that can get out of hand. People like Terrell Morgan could be standing at your bedside watching you sleep. And that story went on to say that he was arrested and being held by Montgomery County Jail and is on a $250,000 bond. So he's not getting out. And tell you, stories like that wakes you up in 2018, making you say, okay, people are still people. People are still going to do crazy, stupid, gross, weird, outrageous things. Well, I've been on break from teaching, because I've been on Christmas holiday break, and it's about a 30-day vacation. It's nice. I tell you, I've never been off work this long since I've started working full-time. And having this kind of break is awesome, and I cannot wait to see horses in May, because that is when I am going to be off for 3 months in the summer. But my break's almost coming to an end. School is starting back. I have to go back January 8th and 9th for some professional development to get prepared for classes. But officially school starts the day after Martin Luther King, January 16th. And I start back teaching full-time then. Thrown right back into it. I've really enjoyed my time off. I've got a chance to go see my mom for Christmas. I got a chance to go spend some time with my dad. Got a chance to keep my little brother for a couple of days. Got a chance to do some hobbies, work on this podcast, for instance, or go play poker. And I've had a lot of TV time, caught up on some TV. And when you're on break, there's no good TV shows on. So, I've just caught up on Hulu and Netflix and been relaxing, sleeping, catching up on sleep, going to bed at 4 or 5 in the morning and not waking up till noon or 1 the next day. It's been great, being able to enjoy break like this. But I will be back on a schedule very soon when school starts back, and that's coming. My classes, I'm teaching 5 sections of speech fundamentals, and I will be teaching students how to properly speak in public. So it's basically an intro to public speaking class. Teaching Monday through Thursday, 4 days a week, and 2 classes a day, with some office hours thrown in there. But can't wait to go back to work, get my office prepared. They finally painted my office, and because they had me in a female office when I started, and the walls were green with flowers, and finally they painted it. They said, "What color do you want it, Adam?" I said, "Anything but what it's on the wall. I want it white. You can do white. I don't care." And that's what they painted it. They painted it white. But I'm looking forward to going back to work, getting things restarted again, and getting back into the routine of teaching. I will be doing another communication lecture series podcast on visual aids very soon. And the 200th episode of Off the Cuff is coming up very soon. This is episode 194, so we are, 6 episodes away from the 200th episode. And Zach Hahn is going to host it and interview me, and he's just going to, I imagine he's just going to talk about the origin of the podcast. But looking forward to that. And the March Madness series, of course, comes up in 2018. Can't believe that that's coming up. And we'll be talking about basketball during the month of March. Oh, and I need to tell you guys, I bought SEC basketball tickets. So I'm going to the SEC tournament. Definitely to cheer on the Cats, but I love SEC basketball. It's my favorite basketball to watch. The SEC, say what you want to about the SEC, but it is one of the best college basketball conferences in college basketball. And the ACC, yes, number one, with Duke, Carolina, and Louisville, teams like that. Yeah, it's an amazing conference. But you have the SEC, Kentucky, Florida, always 2 solid teams, and you always got teams like Arkansas, Bama, Vandy, Missouri, Texas A&M sneaking into the tournament. And, sometimes you have good years from Tennessee and LSU, and Georgia. So these teams are all coached by elite college basketball coaches. They all went after big name coaches. Some got turned down, but the SEC is trying, and I love it when schools try. I know Alabama went for Greg Marshall, even offered him $5 million a year, but Greg Marshall turned it down. Now, I think Greg Marshall is waiting out for a huge job like Carolina or Duke, because Roy and Coach K are on their last days in their coaching careers. I mean, they're both, in their 70s, and, Roy Williams is pushing it to be 70. So I think that Greg Marshall is just going to ride the wave out at Wichita. I think he likes being the big fish in a small pond. So I think he'll ride that out until something huge comes open. But I look forward to watching SEC basketball, going to the SEC tournament. I'll be doing an SEC podcast, probably live from St. Louis, Missouri. So a lot of big things coming up in 2018. Covering the SEC live will be a great time. It will be a great boost for the podcast to get some ratings up. People love listening to sports shows. I'm working on a campaign. I'm helping one of my good friends, Dale Hamilton, run for Knott County Circuit Court Clerk. He is running for the May 2018 election, and the final days on that have not approached for the last day to register, so I don't know who his opponents are going to be. He's going to make a great candidate. He has hired me to work on his campaign, so he has hired me as his campaign manager. And as the campaign manager, I will be really working on social media to make this campaign the best. That's putting him on Facebook, putting him all over the internet with Facebook ads, and making sure that we utilize social media to push Dale. And Dale is an honest, hardworking, good person, and I would not work on anybody's campaign, probably even give it even a thought to work on somebody's campaign and be the campaign manager other than Dale, because I so believe he'll do an honest and true job for the county of Knott County, and he'll get things done, and he'll really work for the people and do a good job and make sure things are done right. He's very smart, and I look forward to working on the campaign. Getting started on that now as we speak. I've already created the Facebook page, and we're just ready to launch, and we're going to launch it. We are going to launch very soon. And I plan on election day, which is in May, I plan on doing a live podcast from the headquarters, probably at next Friday, my company, and we're going to be doing his campaign the election day party from there. And I'll probably be doing a podcast, but I would like to be doing a podcast during the results of the election, and hopefully I'll be able to interview Dale, bring him on for a post-victory interview. I'm sure if he loses, he's not going to feel like talking, but I probably won't either. But we might bring him on before and then bring him on again if he wins. But a lot of exciting things happening in 2018. I'm very excited. I think that the podcast is going to grow with doing shows like I've talked about. I'm always looking for different ways to do the show, different places that we can go, different places that we can take the show, the different people that we can interview, and putting the show in live situations like a campaign election night or like the SEC tournament. It always makes for better listening. I remember doing the 2016 presidential night election with Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, and I did that podcast with Zach Hahn, and I believe I want to say it was Jordan Canasser as well. But I remember doing that podcast and it being a lot of fun and getting a lot of listens. But I want to do a lot of that this year. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I always want to thank you for listening to Off the Cuff. I'm Adam Banks. We will see you in another episode of Off the Cuff very, very soon. And everyone enjoy 2018. Stay positive, work hard, and good things will happen.